Well, how about we get into one of the most dangerous stories for YouTube, as it were? Because, hey, if it's in the news, it's in the news. And who am I to judge? We have this story from the Daily Mail. You ready for this one?
Let's go.
Pentagon scientists reveal a microchip that senses COVID-19 in your body before you show symptoms and a filter that extracts the virus from your blood.
Gimme.
I can't believe it when I saw this meme going around. I'm like, that's not
Can't be
real.
I can't believe that's an actual story that is being... I mean, I'm surprised that it hasn't been, squashed by Google and all the other...
60 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a 60-minute story.
It's a 60-minute story.
60-minute story.
No.
Let me read. Let me read a little bit. Let me read this. Pentagon scientists working inside a secretive unit set up at the height of the Cold War have created a microchip to be inserted under the skin, which will detect COVID-19 infection.
It's the mark of the beast.
Pentagon.
They're putting robots in you.
And a revolutionary filter that can remove the virus from the blood when attached to a dialysis machine.
Does it have lights on it? Are they shooting lights in your vein like Trump said?
Oh, gosh.
They're gonna put a bleach. The team at DARPA have been working for years on preventing and ending pandemics. They assess the issues and come up with ingenious solutions, which at times appears to be more a science fiction novel than working in a laboratory. One of their recent inventions, they told 60 Minutes on Sunday night, was a microchip which detects COVID infection in an individual before it can become an outbreak. The microchip is sure to spark worries among some about a government agency implanting a microchip in a citizen.
By some, they mean Jesus people.
By some,
They mean
I think they
people
mean
that are very religious.
Everyone.
I'm pretty sure they mean everyone. Except these, I don't know, man.
Bill Gates is like, yeah, let's do it. I want to put a chip in everyone.
Do you remember VeriChip? This was like 10 years ago, I think.
Vaguely.
Or maybe like 15.
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
They're RFID chips they would implant in your hand.
Oh, yeah.
And you could wave it by a door and the door would
yes.
open.
Yeah.
And it had your information on it. And the way it works is that the signal emitted from the reader provides enough power for it to bounce back a signal with information. It's brilliant. But when that came out, this is like 2000s. People were freaking out like, this is it. This is the mark of the beast.
There are already biohackers that have done that kind of stuff to themselves, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's people who put like full weird Arduinos in their arm. Your body rejects that stuff.
Yeah.
But this stuff has been around for a while, where there's been some kind of microchip embedding, and there's been all the conspiracy theorists. And the funny thing is, there's a meme going around because of, I think, Ryan Reynolds, where he posted a vaccine selfie, and he said upgraded to 5G today.
I saw that.
Now I'm seeing all of my I'm seeing some of my friends and a bunch of memes where people are like, getting 5G reception's great, and I'm like, I get it, it's a funny joke. But the thing is, the media was desperately trying to tell people, even YouTube was against the rules. They're not putting microchips. There's no microchips. There's no COVID microchips. Stop. And then it's like, okay, fine. Okay, we won't say it. It's crazy. We know it's crazy. And then Sunday, 60 Minutes.
And it's okay.
There's microchips.
It's okay for 60 Minutes to do it too.
Yes.
This conversation probably got this stream defunded.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get in trouble for something like this. Because you know what happens? The way YouTube videos are moderated, it's typically some dude in India or China or Mexico, and it's outsourced labor where some of these people...
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. My understanding is, I'll put it that way, just in case, because, but my understanding is it's outsourced labor because there's so much content. So you get some person who's watching it and they don't understand context. First, you get the robots that do it. And the robots are like, I see swears, beep, boop, boop, demonetized. Then if it escalates, you'll get a review from a person and they're going to be like, oh, microchips, that's conspiracy theory, boop, boop, demonetized.
Not anymore.
This happens to me all the time, though. Check it out. So I actually have, I actually know people at Google, but I have an actual Google rep that I have to constantly message hey, this is demonetized. There was we had 2 videos on this show on this channel where we criticized Ocasio-Cortez. We got demonetized because of it. And they said you violated our policy against being hateful towards an individual.
She'll send people to your house.
What, AOC?
Yeah, that guy. There was that person that was on Twitter that made a comment critical of AOC, and the police showed up. FBI showed up.
What? Really?
You didn't hear about this?
No.
Yeah, I forget. I don't remember the guy's name. He was a left-leaning guy, and he said something critical, and he ended up with someone at the FBI at his house about because he criticized AOC. So I don't think that it was AOC actually sending it. But.
Well, I'll, to be fair, the first story that pops up is actually they tweeted about something really bad. like causing harm to
Was it
somebody.
spicy?
Yeah, I'd say it was spicy. So, but if you Google search AOC FBI, something I probably can't repeat on YouTube because
Spicy.
Let's not go there.
yeah, it wasn't just a guy saying like AOC you suck. It was a guy who said something like go do a thing to this person. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Do you see it? You see the story? Somebody was basically calling for harm against AOC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at this now.
Or is it a different? Because the one I saw was from a couple months ago.
No, this is not the one that I'm referring to.
So there is a story where a guy was being mean to her. Well, anyway, while you look that up, I'll just finish off this point. They demonetized these stories because we were critical of AOC.
Yes.
And then I submitted for appeal, and they were confirmed demonetized. So then I had to contact Google and like, hey, and then it took like a week, and they were like, sorry about this. They're monetized. That wasn't against the rules. I'm like, we're criticizing a politician, dude. You know, like, what can we say?
Unsettling.
In this case, we're talking about microchips that the Pentagon has announced.
Yes.
On 60 Minutes.
60 Minutes,
Yep.
CBS. Is that CBS?
That's CBS.
Are you going to get the microchip?
I am not going to get the microchip.
I want to know, is it proprietary
But Ian,
software?
I will get the neodymium magnets in my fingertips.
Oh, I am sold.
You know about that?
No.
Do you know about this biohacking thing?
No.
If they cut open your fingertip,
Yeah.
and they put like it's like a coated neodymium magnet, a small one, and then they sew your fingers up, and when it heals, the magnet vibrates against electromagnetic fields, so it gives you electrosense.
What?
So you can actually put your hand on a wall and feel where the power cables are, because apparently it feels different.
Gimme.
Like it's a new sense. You're like, whoa, I've never felt something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Because what happens is the magnet is pulling and pushing against the nerve from the inside and vibrating, so you can like feel like the EMF waves, the electromagnetic waves coming off of electric objects and devices.
I used to put magnets on my...
Lydia looks horrified.
I am
It's
horrified
cool. It's
by
cool.
this.
The problem is your body rejects foreign objects.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, what happens is eventually your fingers just spit them out.
Yeah.
They just get pushed further and further out. So there are some techniques they tried doing. They coat it in a material so that your body ignores it. Some of the early pioneers of this have had the magnets break in their fingers, and you got to get them removed. And there's like infection risks. And your fingertips are particularly sensitive, so getting them sliced open for the surgery.
Sure.
Hey, man. But man, I've always thought that was really cool.
I
Now microchips.
I will get Neuralink.
Will you get
Really?
Neuralink?
I will. I don't know that I'll get first gen.
Did you see the monkey playing Pong?
No,
Dude, you
What?
gotta
I wanna see
look
this.
it up.
Yes.
Amazing.
So
And it's at the
cool.
end of the video.
Can we go from being very scared about the government planting microchips
Being
to
like,
talking
oh,
about
cool.
monkeys playing
Dude,
Pong?
he's
It's fun.
good at it. He's doing it with his mind.
Is it a chimp or is it a monkey?
It's a macaw.
Yeah.
I don't trust the government,
Monkey.
but Daddy Elon, I tell
I
you
know.
what, there's a totally different kind of deal going on with
Super
Elon.
He's open sourcing the code, and you know what it's tracking and what it's not tracking.
He can open source the code, but I'm still relying on someone else to tell me because I can't code.
Yeah.
So like
What?
you could be like, oh, you know, look, you can look at the code. It's like people say, oh, you can look at the Bitcoin ledger and see. I'm like, no, you can look at the Bitcoin ledger and see.
I can't.
I can't. That's all
It's like
German
having
or
an interpreter.
whatever. Like I don't.
Our president speaks English, doesn't speak foreign languages. He relies on an interpreter. The interpreter may as well be the president.
Hold on.
Our
You
president
said
does not speak English.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like,
Come on, man.
Used to
Turn it down a shot of pressure.
He speaks
speaks
elderly.
English.
yes, he does.
I pulled it up. Yes, CNN Business. Elon Musk's company says this monkey is playing Pong with his mind.
So
This
cool.
video is lit.
The monkey playing Pong. Well, so I will mention.
Lit.
Do you know what an EEG is? Electroencephalogram.
Electroencephalogram,
Yes,
yeah.
uh-huh.
So you can actually buy them. They've been around for a long time. But there's consumer grade ones. I talked about this before. We bought one where it's a band that goes over your head, and then there's like a bar that goes onto your forehead, and it can detect 2 different waves, I guess. And so there's a reader, an EEG reader on the computer, and there was a red and blue line, and they're like bouncing randomly, and it's like focus and concentration or whatever. I don't know what it means. And me and my friend, we put the EEG on, and we're like trying to focus, and the lines are just random. No
It's
matter
actually
what,
horny and hungry.
no matter
Me too.
but no matter what we do, we couldn't get the lines to move. But then we gave it to his sister, and she put it on, and she could move the red line. Like she figured out real quick, and like the line would like make the line go up, and then she would look at it, and the line would go up. And we're
Very
like,
hungry.
very
Super
hungry.
hungry.
That's right.
Starving.
So we were wondering if these 2 outputs could be used to control a drone, so that you have 2 controls. One is to make it go up and down, and the other is to make it rotate.
Ooh.
So you couldn't fly it around because you'd need more sensors.
Sure.
But with just that, instead of a red line on a screen, the drone could be going up and down. So I bring that up because that wasn't invasive. It's a headband you'd put on. You can buy all these things right now. Does the monkey really need to get his brain chipped to be able to play Pong? The answer is no, he doesn't.
He does, so that way eventually you can wear it in your head and type on your phone without your fingers.
Aren't you worried about being turned into the Borg?
No.
No?
No.
Why do you want the Neuralink?
Because I want to. Because I think that Elon Musk is right about the interface. That, to me, that's really the interesting thing. The interface that we have today with the internet is limited to most people as their thumbs. You know, we like you said, you used to have a full keyboard for walking around all the time. Then it's gone down to your thumbs. If you can manage to just interface with the phone or whatever in your pocket without having the slowness of your thumbs, and you could just access the existing internet by thinking, that's something that I find extremely intriguing, and I think would be a very useful thing to have in your day-to-day life. I'm not looking to be like, oh, I want the internet in my brain or whatever, having that interface from that removes my hands, the necessity of having my hands do the typing to access the internet, that I think is interesting.
Don't you want to download Kung Fu like in the Matrix?
I love the idea. I do. But I also think that there is a certain amount of well, I mean, I suppose they could, eventually, if that is possible, you could download the muscle memory and stuff like that.
Right, you need muscle memory, and you need the muscle proteins to actually build up to be able to do half the things.
Sure. So
it's not just about, it's funny when people are like in the Matrix, he plugs thing in his brain, he downloads Kung Fu, and then he can fight. He's like, I know Kung Fu, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hold on. I can watch someone do something, and they can explain it to me, and then my brain's like, got it. And then I'll fall over because I'm not flexible enough and I'm not strong enough.
I just started taking jiu-jitsu about a month ago, and there is a significant learning curve to, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Like, for me, if right now I'm basically at a point where if I can pass guard on someone that I'm rolling with, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I've won. I don't know what to do. So but having the information there would be cool, and knowing, okay, this is what I'm looking to do, but the actual executing still would take some kind of, some amount of physical work, I think.
Bro, what if you're actually like a 5'3" morbidly obese dude plugged into a Neuralink right now because you've always your whole life wanted to be a famous heavy metal singer, and you're in the game right now?
Well, then hopefully, he never wakes up.
Hey, at least you can say you can enjoy yourself playing a video game. Now, because people talk about, you get the Neuralink, you plug in, and you're like in Skyrim, you're in World of Warcraft or Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think with VR headsets and stuff like that, that's not super far away. Sensations like smell that you get when if you're in a place, the way things smell in a place are I don't know that we could reproduce that. But Neuralink possibly could by accessing those parts of your brain, and then you go ahead and you put on a VR helmet that for the sound and sight. I mean,
I heard that they're actually working on virtual smell by causing electrical stimulation in your ear, in your inner ear.
I tell you, those things Tinder Tinder use would go way down if that stuff was real.
Like right now, we're in a simulation in the real world. Phil, you're actually like some 23-year-old, just like fat kid, and you're like, I always wanted to be a heavy metal singer, and you're in the game. Ian's actually like a tech billionaire who's really smart and clean cut, and he's like, I just wanted to be this like free-spirited DMT crazy guy in a podcast so bad. It's like, it's just
You're
people
like, I'm
playing.
schooling these dudes.
Well, so no, what I mean is like, I'm very hypothetical, obviously, sure. But if it's possible to create a virtual environment where you get to experience that game, how do you know you're not already in it?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people talk about the idea that it's a simulation and stuff like that.
Elon Musk talks about it.
Yeah, I mean,
what if he's trying to break out of the simulation?
Well, then I want him to. I truly think that Elon Musk is a. I think that he's probably a pretty good dude who isn't like the people at Google.
Yeah, I tweeted tax the rich, and then all the lefties were like, yeah, and then a bunch of conservatives were like, haha, very funny, Tim. And then I tweeted tax the rich, but give all the money to Elon Musk. And they're like, okay, now the left's not happy because they don't like him all
Yeah,
that
they
much.
don't like him at all. But they don't like him because he has money and he's successful, and people on the left are,
Yeah, I was really annoyed when he
they don't like
blasted
people having money.
the Tesla into space, and they're like, this is so dumb. And I'm like, well, he needed a payload, he needed a weight, and he made something really cool and inspirational for young people. Like, that's legit, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. I don't like the idea that you got all these billionaires dumping money into politics. So take it all and just give it to Elon Musk and let him build a spaceship to Mars. I want to see that.
When people like when someone like Bernie Sanders criticizes Elon Musk, it really, really rubs me the wrong way, because Bernie Sanders has done nothing but live off of of other people's money his entire life. He's produced nothing of value.
He wrote a book.
Yeah, you're right. And then he made $1 million off of his book.
Yeah.
And he is then he stopped talking about the millionaires and the billionaires and just
No,
started talking about the billionaires.
just the billionaires.
Yeah, now he talks just.
He
about
brought him
the
back though. He brought it back.
Did he really?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You were right. He stopped talking about the millionaires.
Yeah. It's just the billionaires that he's got a problem.
But then he
with.
brought millionaires back recently.
Because if you write a book, then you could maybe make $1 million.
don't you
But I'll
insult
take it.
me?
Yeah.
I made $1 million selling my book.
At a 37% tax rate, top margin.
Yeah,
rate.
so it's really funny too. I'm kind of stoked on this. The media's collapse because there's this big upset. Everyone's angry about Substack. Substack is where writers can charge a fee and write articles. It's really simple. But now you get these high-profile individuals leaving their main outlets and just doing Substacks.
They're leaving because the main outlets are garbage.
And they're being restricted and they don't make money.
Yeah.
It's like YouTube. Like, I worked for Vice, I worked for Fusion, and people are, I loved this. There was some like New York journalist, and they tweeted at me, they tagged me in this. They were like, remember Timcast? Man, whatever happened to him? And then someone's like,
Whatever happened.
This was like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and they were like, to go from like this high profile 6-figure corporate media job to now what? And someone goes like, oh man, his Patreon's only bringing $1,000 a month. They're like, wow, that's sad. And I'm like, these people know nothing about what's going on. They live in this bubble where working for the machine is like the ideal. Yeah. And I left and started a YouTube channel, and I was on Joe Rogan and like doing really well, and I was, business was expanding and exploding, and now it's better than ever. And these people just live in that bubble.
Yeah.
So now these news outlets are freaking out because Substack has just taken everything away from them. But I'm glad. They're in free fall. Their ratings are collapsing. And I think what's happening is a lot of people like to say that these media companies get woke and then go broke. They think Vice got woke and then went broke. They think these media companies decided one day, we're going to be woke. Oh no, our money's gone. Some of them went the other way. Some of them were going broke and decided to get woke in desperation. They were like, our ratings are dropping. What do we do? Pander. What can we pander to? I don't know, progressives. At least we'll maintain that
Tumblr.
audience. What was it?
Tumblr.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.